Hi Nia, morning. Emily, what's up? What's up? Yeah, event. It was a very eventful weekend. In the city, a lot happened. They brought the Sands Festival down, so that was good. Had a couple artists from Jamaica come through, and they held it down. And then last night we did the Lloyd concert. What's funny though is I don't know if you've been seeing all the verses nonsense with like the artists, the old artists. From the Omarion one, there was technical difficulties. Some were trying to say a lot of these R&B artists can't sing no more. They lost their vocals. They're growing. They're getting old. If I seen Ray J doing vocal lessons the other day, Brandy did that for him. So as you get older, your talent might diminish a little bit. We'll probably talk about that a little bit, but it happens if you don't if you're not on top of it.
You gotta refine your tools. Don't just leave it by chance.
But it was good to see Lloyd hit the vocals a cappella. And he was interested to come into Ghana, so shout out to him as well too. I have some great content that I'm gonna post out of that. But yeah, eventful weekend. We're gonna kick right into it. Friday was a interesting day for the world. If you're in Canada, the Rogers network was down.
I'm not with Rogers, but
yeah, I'm gonna tell us too. Shout out to Telus for that one. Shout out to Bell.
Shout out Bell.
But the world was on a little frenzy.
Yeah.
And it was funny to see that, how kind of addicted everybody is to their phones and like social media. Like people were they couldn't,
function.
But I mean, there was other repercussions to that as well too. You weren't able to use your ATM. Yeah. You weren't able to use your debit card. You weren't able to send money or receive money. So I seen a lot of people, like I had from our event, I had a lot of people to pay, and it was kind of funny because as I was texting everywhere, like, yo, I can't even pay you right now. And everybody was all over the place. So in the back end, it's funny because you get a day to save paying people, but everyone got paid. But yeah, shout out to Bell. Shout out to... Oh, there we go. We're seeing all the Rogers people that I see in the comments. But if your phone was affected by the Rogers outbreak or whatever that was, I seen on the CP24 this morning, they're coming with the reasons to why it happened. And they're obviously going to have to reimburse a lot of people. But this is the second time it's happened for Rogers.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, second time.
Rogers bills be too high for me, so I left a while ago.
I made a little video. Rogers is robbers. I'm not gonna, put it out there, but Bells, tell us your problems. Cause at least they'll call you and tell us this. So I used to have this one saying, but I hope it didn't affect everybody too much. And you know what? It's kind of good. Like I was happy. I was low key happy because my phone was kind of dead. So it's like sometimes when you get a break, it's okay.
The mandatory breaks, and people need that. You see, I don't wanna. There's this thing that people feel like everybody's addicted, but it's not even so much as addicted. I think it's the way of life. There's so many people that their lives revolve, not that they're addicted to their phone, but maybe they do business on it. They have most of their information because that's what the phone is for, is a tool for us to use. So if we have all the things we need to do on, it would be much more difficult. But if it was just to get you through the day, because you weren't allowed to be on Instagram, be on social media, read tweets and things like that, just for you to feel like you're doing something, then you might falling close to being addicted, where you feel like, what do I do with myself during the day? I don't know, step outside, it's a nice day outside. But I know for some people, like I said, they do work with their phone, not even just their phone in itself. Like I know it was with the home internet. My phone was working, but my home internet was not working. So that means my bill this month, the data's gonna be a little over, but it happens. But aside from that, we all took that as an experience to that we could actually step away from our phone. You're still here. You didn't die. You see those things like, if I went a day without my phone, I don't know what would happen. It happened.
And the one thing I liked from that, like the chaos that I saw, I was on Twitter, and a lot of people got sent home because their jobs. A lot of people work from home, so they weren't able to work. But a lot of people went to go flood the cafes, the Starbucks,
that's true,
the Tim Hortons, just to get that Wi-Fi to get the work done. And it showed me there's basically there's two people in this. You're either gonna get the job done, or you know what, my company's sending me home, or I'll take a break. Even if you're
no excuses, you make the most of it. Even in the midst of chaos, there's people that look for all kind of problems when things go wrong, and never use that moment to fulfill something they're planning to do. Like if you got a day off from work and you always say I need some time to rest. It doesn't always even just working hard. Like we booting your body. Like take a nap, go get some sleep. There's a day. It's difficult for your boss to give you a day off, and then finally get a day off is a blessing in disguise. However you may look at it, if it's for you to work on some of your side hustle projects, some of these things, that's what you have to look at it from, and not get caught up in what the mass is doing, complaining and saying this, that. and why things are not going according to plan. Because in the midst of chaos, there's always opportunities. It's just those who have their nose to the ground, who understand what's going on, make the most of those situations.
100% rich or eternity, there's always a way. Correct, there's always a way. And a lot of, like, The Weeknd had to cancel his tour. That's been going on since 2020. So he I think he's supposed to perform again today, tomorrow, one of those days. We were supposed to go. I was actually running late. Lil Brett, what's good, my guy? But it was one of those things. But let me get into our topics first and why we said that. Shout out we have a lot of the music industry in here right now. Lil Barrett, Big C. Shout out the Sony family, Universal family as well too. I seen Lil Barrett. You got a big release coming on with King Von, so that's good to see for Canada. And before King Von passed, he was able to get a record and video in. So I'm very excited for that one. So thanks for tuning in, my brother. And episode 40. Our topics for this week is distractions, how to turn your dreams and aspirations to keep you going, how your dreams and aspirations can keep you going, and accepting your financial and social status and working to better your situation. Shout out my guy VC2, Lanes' official DJ. Shout out my guys in Miami. Spending a good time using the platform for better use. So shout out to you guys. Yes, always love. But yeah, distractions, we got into that a little bit earlier because of what happened earlier on in the day, but distractions can come from so many different places, not only social media or not only phones, friends, inner circle, what we eat, what we do with our spare time. How can distractions get the best of us?
Well, we said this before, new levels, new devils. Like, only at your highest you will get tested. Every time you're trying to do something great, something along the way will come and distract you and make you feel like you don't deserve that. So there's always going to be some type of distraction. It could be minor, but if you don't treat everything major, eventually you're going to find yourself in a place you don't want to be in. Like, little distraction will eventually turn over to be something big. So
I think you might have to repeat that part again if you don't, because it's like when you say it, it's being said, but like there's so many things that can come if you don't take it serious.
Well, it's the little things, it's the little things. Like if you have big plans and maybe one episode won't hurt, but that's how it starts. And then you're watching 2 episodes, then you end up watching a season, and before you know, you looked up, you wasted your day not focused on what it is that you need to work on, and you can just start making excuses for the little things. So it's not so much as this wouldn't hurt me, because we know failure doesn't happen overnight. It's not the fact that you decided to drink that big large milkshake is the reason why your health is declining, right? That's not the one answer to your circumstances, right? So you always got to take the little things. When it's minor, when you could take it head on, when the battles are small, when it's just a small effect, that's when you take it the most serious, because eventually it become too big for you. And if you can't take the little things serious, when it gets big and major, you will never have a chance against your problems.
Is there like a psychological aspect into people who get distracted earlier? Easiest?
Well, it's not so much as easier. I think most importantly is what piques interest to you, right? So if you're distracted from doing something, you're not very well engaged, right? And I was talking to a couple of people about people who deal with ADHD and whatnot, and I said, often or not, this is when you know when something is meaningful, when it has your full undivided attention. We all been in some class, we're like, what the hell is this? And then we've been in other classes where we feel like we're all in and other people are not in. So it's all about piquing your interest. It's easy for somebody to come drag you out of a place you do not want to be in, right? So that's what I'm talking about, that mentally. It's not even like the physical nature of things. Like, it's like people tune into looking for motivation. No matter what it is that's going on around them, they want to hear this information. And somebody else may come across and this is not what they want to hear. Any kind of little distraction that's not even remotely anything. It could be like a fly comes in the room or something. All of a sudden, let me get out like I got better things to do. It's just kind of like one of those things where it's kind of like anything that will make you lose focus. It's the instant gratification. They said the instant gratification monkey, something along the lines. But something comes on and plays with your head and says, "We got better things to do. There's more for you."
And I see we're live on YouTube and people are in the comments already. Let me type in good morning to everybody as well too.
Tune in on YouTube as soon as you get there. Subscribe, like, share.
Yeah, shout out my guy Kulu, New Jersey. Last week you came in and you brought all the boroughs. You brought New York, New Jersey. So my brother do the same thing again. Send us out to the common few in the family. Shout out to my guys on the New Jersey side. I was supposed to be with you guys on Friday, but Canada was a whole mess. The airport was a disaster. And you know we'll get something in this week. I think we got Miami coming up. But shout out to my New Jersey common few family as well too. Yes, we're back on YouTube. So if Instagram or the live could get you distracted, head to YouTube where you can play it in your car. It doesn't really have to be on it. It could be in the small side or the side tab bar. So head to YouTube, subscribe. Once you get in, click the like button. I see people coming in now. So shout out to everybody as well too. And if you're not part of our Motivation Monday family, you're just chiming in from the live, then please follow the Instagram page where we'll keep you up to date with everything going on. And I mean, you know, the things we focus on today will determine our future later. So if you don't focus on these things, like you say, you'll pay for it later. You
pay for the price tomorrow. Eventually, you pay the price. You know, there's two prices that you have to pay. Either regret, which you're gonna regret everything that you done, or lost it. Regret, or just thinking about what I should have done, because that's just you know, they say this all the time. There's some people on their deathbed when they talk to elderly people. It's not so much of what they did and they failed, but what they didn't do is what bothered them the most, right? So you cannot live in that constant fear of failing, right? It's like don't pay the price. Don't pay the price of regret. It's either pain or regret, and the price to pay for pain, it's not that significant compared to the pain of regret, because you would have been like, what if, should have, and then like you said that time, if you constantly live in the past, you set yourself on the cell to be depressed, because there's things you cannot change, and they'll eat at your soul, they'll eat at your mind to make you feel like you're not good enough, and then eventually they start to play into what's going on right now, and then further on into the future, right? So if you're constantly thinking about what you could have done if things should have been different, you're going to feel bad of yourself, and that's the set of you becoming depressed, which eventually takes on the present days because you're constantly living in the past, and then you worry about how the future might look, which sets on anxiety. And those are the two places you do not want to be in. Constantly think about the past and worrying that your future may look exactly like your past. You in a place that I'm telling you do not want to be in. Dealing with depression and anxiety is something you do not want to deal with.
Especially in today's age right now, it's at an all-time high, where like you can easily just literally jump on your phone, back to the distractions, and you know you can look at what this person is doing, what this company is doing, and
that's the problem. That's one thing, like you just said, the world is so complex. You cannot take there's nothing on this earth that's 99% good. Right, everything comes with its pros and cons. Like now that we can connect everywhere in the world, our social circle is much bigger. It's a big time opportunity for people who are getting into business to connect. You know, we get on Instagram Live now, we connect with people all over the world. 10 years ago, we weren't like that. It was our immediate social circle. Friends we went to high school with, friends in the neighborhood. But with that, it also let us compete or feel, because we live in a world dealing with hierarchies and social status, which later we're going to talk about our social status, where we feel like the sense of being something. And then if we're dealing with it on the world stage, now we're comparing ourselves to millions. I forgot what the term is, but I think we're about seven people away from knowing everybody around the world, like from anybody. And it just goes to show like we're on the world stage. So anything that we do have, anything that we do want, there's always somebody to compare to. So although on the other side, social media has been a blessing and how times has changed, it's the same time is hurting us, because now we feel less of ourselves. We feel like we always want more, right? We accomplish something, we go on social media, somebody have something bigger and better. Before we would have felt good about ourselves, because then it's just our 20-something peers in our social network that we see on a physical basis. But now we just get on Instagram, search somebody in their $1 million home and their $1 million car, and they're traveling every day, and this is the life that you want. You feel like you're never going to get there. And once again, that's the set of sail of what it is that you could have done, set of sail of where you think your future needs to be. And we do not want to go down that path of dealing with depression or anxiety.
And you know, it's crazy, as you were saying that, like whenever you go into an app, let's say on Spotify or Apple Music, they'll always ask you what's your interest in the beginning as you're signing up, because they want to get to know you. How can I not really distract you, but how can I make your feed according to what you're interested in and what you like? So as you're saying that, I'm like, oh, it's crazy. It's probably one of the smartest things they do, because once you put your interest and what you like and all this stuff, it's easier for them to get you on their app for a longer period of time than you probably expect it to be. That's why I think TikTok is amazing, because once you watch one video, it can send you to all these different videos. By the time you're done, you just spend an hour looking at all these funny videos that you thought you'd never see. And it's funny, it was the guy who made TikTok, he said he did it for people who are looking to get rich and just have all the time in the world.
Exactly. Since 2000, since the internet peaked that is very high since then. I mean, the other side you don't talk about, but it's called persuasive technology. I think if anybody never got a chance yet, watch the documentary called Social Dilemma, right? What they're doing is called persuasive technology. In essence, they did a mass scale with Google and I think Facebook. And what persuasive technology is basically modifying your behavior while using your technology, right? So they're trying to grab you. They're trying to sell you something. The big firms, the guys in Silicon Valley, they're the ones that are make sure they're creating the algorithm to get you hooked on your phone and get you to buy things. And there's a lot of things that they do. Your phone is just down, right? You plan not to pick it up, you get that notification like so-and-so I've been posting a while. And ironically, that just happened to be somebody that you're thinking about. And then people always want to say, I was just on this ad, why am I getting this ad now? That's what all that is, persuasive technology. And is that they're trying to sell you something. Kudos to those people that are making the most of it, who are above the curve. Like, people that are the influencers, the people that got to get the content to make, and they get paid off it. But anytime living in a capitalist country on the western side of the world, anything that brings somebody else money, there's also a victim side of it. So we have these influencers, we have these content creators, but also they're creating an illusion for those people who don't understand what it is that's going on. So check that out, persuasive technology.
Well said. And my guy Boogie says 6 degrees of separation, and we're right about social media. And it some people use it for the better of them, like you said. Some people they just have it as an app, and it's really up to you.
Use it as a tool, use it as a weapon to your benefit. I'm not against anybody saying, who are we to judge what's moral to one and what's not moral to the other person? Because you hear all these crazy stories about the big pharmaceutical and the medicine that they're pushing. You hear all these things. I'm not the guardian at the gate for me to say what it is that you do, what it is that you sell, the whole place. There are some things that I personally don't agree with, but it might say, and there's things that I do people don't personally agree. We're all not perfect. Do what works in your domain, what best fit you. And if you could sleep at night, so be it. That's all I gotta say. Don't let nobody tell you anything different.
And 11:11, so that brings us to the time where we say our morning affirmation at 11:11. The world lets us tell, we make a wish. Here, Motivation Monday, we say make an affirmation, and we pray and hope that you practice this every day, because it's for your own benefit. So I'm gonna get right into it. So our morning affirmation is: I believe that raising productivity is all about working smarter. I am patient, persistent, and steadfast in everything I do. My confidence levels are increasing day by day, and I am a magnet for successful people. So I'm going to repeat that again, and then we'll break it down. I believe that raising productivity is all about working smarter. I am patient, persistent, and steadfast in everything I do. My confidence levels are increasing day by day, and I am a magnet for successful people.
I'm a magnet for successful people. My confidence is raising day by day. Most importantly, what I took from that is being patient and being persistent, right? In other words, like, it's kind of contradicting itself as far as being patient and being persistent, because people often get that confused, right? Feeling like I got to keep going. If I don't get the results, I may stop, right? But most importantly is like being patient. Understand that your blessing is coming. Your results may not be tomorrow, and you got to be steady fast, right? You got to be steady fast, nose to the grind. Work on yourself continuously. Some people are more talented than you. You're more talented than somebody else, right? There's something that you do better than everybody. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. And there's things and you got to understand at the same time too, that you also do have flaws, and there's things that other people do better than you, right? Some people will take a while, you might take a day, vice versa, right? But have that confidence, have that self-esteem, right? Self-esteem is standing firm and saying, regardless of how the outcome is, I'm going to stand where I stand and continue to do what it is that I need to do for myself, right? You don't get pushed, you don't get deterred by what some of the things that come your way.
And as you said, that patience and persistence, the 2 P's of marriage. This is the P's that we're pushing today, this morning. And on YouTube, our guy Boogie said, people post prepared and staged pics, and we see it with our unprepared lives. And of course, at times we feel less.
And that's the key. That's why you gotta learn to separate yourself. So if you're dealing with that, if you're feeling a sense of, if you're, I'm gonna say this, if you're feeling if you're dealing with constant validation, self-worth, or self-esteem, it'll be in your best interest to stay off social media. That's what I gotta say. It'll be in your best interest to stay off social media. Connect with people who are actually, it's quite funny what's happening in the studio. There's a fly in the room distracting people, and area people can easily get distracted with a fly come in the room. So shout out to the team and everybody in the studio. But what was I saying again? Now I'm distracted.
We're talking about the prepared and staged pics, and we see it with our
Yes. If you're dealing with validation, if you feel a sense of belonging, you're constantly finding on social media and you come across these people, why they have this, why they look better, why I wish I couldn't have this, stay off social media. Because like I said earlier, I think it was 2000, actually the stats, if I remember, is in 2009, since the rise of social media, there's a correlation link between suicide rates, especially among young people, and I'm not saying social media is why the suicide, but there's actually a new diagnosis that they're putting in where people are actually going in to do surgeries, and I think they said they want to look like a Snapchat filter. This is literally what people are doing. So it's like, so there's an actual term for it, right? People want to say they want to look at how their Snapchat filter looks, and that's what we do in this day and age. So you just gotta learn to separate yourself, love yourself regardless your circumstance and the situation that you're in.
And Boogie added to that, he's like, what about us working on our what about I'm working or we're working to make the world a better place?
Well, from that, we can't fix the world. I personally believe we cannot change the system overnight, but you start with changing yourself, then you change your immediate circle, and then by that you move on. And if everybody does that collectively, we change the world. I'm not saying I don't believe in big social change as far as protesting and things like that. It just brings immediate attention. I could be wrong. I like to have that conversation with anybody, but it starts with changing yourself. Often people want our circumstances and situations to change, but they don't want to change themselves. And that's what the great things that people are often hearing. You often hear use that quote from Jordan Peterson is clean your room. Right? People want to go clean the outside of the room, and your room is not clean, literally. So it starts with changing yourself. Be that person that you want the world to see or be, and then from there we gradually move on to a bigger scale.
Well said, and thanks for that input as well too. Once again, this is just a reminder to everyone, we're on YouTube. Earlier on we weren't live, but we're back on there, so if anybody is on the IG and you want to watch it on your big screen while you're working, or in your car, on your second phone, or however it is easier for you, we encourage everybody to head to the YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed to our page, please do so. Once you get in there, click the like button, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and you'll be able to watch us clear. There's a live chat as well too, and we always encourage everyone to ask questions. Asking questions is super key, especially with our platform. Like Mac, we don't know everything. It's a discussion that we bring to the table literally each and every week to help everybody kickstart the week on the right track and the right way. So we encourage everybody. There's a question box on the IG lives, and then we have our live chat feed on YouTube. So feel free, just like how people were putting their comments and inputs in the chat, feel free to do so. This is an open discussion, open to everybody. And in times, week after week, we'll bring in special guests to pick their mind, females, males, to get everybody's aspect and perspective to continue on. But that's that on distraction. I don't know if anybody has any questions on distractions. And I always love to say this, especially for my people that do work 9 to 5s that are ambitious. If you can, we always talk about, if you can give 8 hours of a day to a company, make sure you give your time to yourself and to your ambitions and goals, if you have any.
And I know it's hard, and I know I encourage self-care, to take care of yourself, because Gary Vee was talking about is like, if you overwork yourself, what are you gonna do? Like you're dead. Literally, But at the same time, it's like if you're constantly complaining about the circumstances, situation that you're in, you gotta start paying the price. You gotta sacrifice something, right? You gotta sacrifice something. Because I know it's easy to be working 8 hours and you want to treat yourself to that 1 hour of show or that 2 hours of just laying down doing nothing. But you're not happy with the 8 hours that you're committed yourself to every day. So if that means sacrificing those 2 hours so you could have the better 8 hours, maybe 5 years from now, it's not going to be tomorrow, right? You working on your business for 2 hours today, it's not going to be why you quit your business, your job tomorrow. I mean, if that was the case, I'll tell you quit your job right now. If you're 2 hours away from your business launching out to be something bigger than your job, quit right now. Don't even go into work. But I just want people to understand that committing yourself an hour today or 2 hours today is not going to be the reason why you see that financial freedom or that freedom that you want for yourself tomorrow. But it starts by doing that, because then eventually you're going to love what it is that you do. And not every time you have free time, you're trying to escape. You're trying to escape to find some quick fix, some quick boost of dopamine just for you to feel good about yourself and go back complaining, being miserable. So it's just little things. Even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, do something to tell yourself that you're gonna get out of the situation that you're in today.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That puts the icing on the topic about distractions. And I want to ask this question for people, because our mind is a beautiful thing. Or sometimes it's like, you need to do something, your mind is also telling you to do something, your conscience is telling you to do something, but you're not doing it. It's like it's there all in your head, and you're running away from that because of a certain situation or how you're feeling that day. What advice would we give to that, to wrap up the discussion on distraction?
I mean, somebody said you are a terrible worker and a worse boss. Meaning you need yourself to tell you what it is you want to do, but then when you tell yourself what to do, you don't do it. So it's kind of like, who are you? Like, you're a terrible worker and you're a terrible boss. So it's like, what do you do about that? It's like little things. Find out what works best for you. I think we try to constantly overachieve, which makes sense. It's a pull. It makes us feel good about ourselves. But I think about setting the mark too far is that when we realize that this is going to take way more than we're capable of, we're easily to give up and quit. With any kind of intervention, any kind of convenience, anything that comes along the way from us seeing how far we are from our dreams and aspirations, which is the next topic we're going to jump into, is that we'll stop. So make that goal reasonable. Make it something obtainable. As far as this is where I am, this is the best I could do, and this is all I could do it. Don't put yourself above anything. Some people don't want to go to the gym because the most they could do is work out for 20 minutes and they actually want to work out for 1 hour. But the only way you're going to get to that 1 hour is going to the gym for 20 minutes, improving yourself for another 5 minutes, 25, and eventually over time, you're going to find yourself in the place that you want to be. And as hard as it will be, you have a meaningful life. You basically picked up a burden. You decided to take something on that's worth fighting for.
And a big shout out to Mama Security, Mama Gravity Security in the building. Shout out to my security family that we've been working together, built a great relationship over 10 years, always showing love and supporting. And I think that answers that part on distraction. And our next topic is how your dreams and aspirations keep you going. And it's one thing to we always encourage everyone to dream big. Mm-hmm. We always encourage people to aspire to be as great as you can be. The sky is literally the limit. Like, you can, whatever you set your mind to do, you can do. But it's not an easy course to stay on. It's not easy to, it's like, for instance, I remember when I first the gym, I lost 10 pounds and I was like, and then I realized I was celebrating way too much, and I was like, yo, how did I get here? I was almost falling off the course of, don't celebrate too much because we still have work to do. The job is not done.
When we talked about, when your flowers start to grow, keep watering them because the weeds will start to take over. When things go well, it's easy to take a break, but like we just said, that vision is staying on course, like something that's tangible, and mainly, I just want to say this specifically, if you're watching this, if you're down and out, if you're down and you're in a dark place, you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with anxiety, nothing is going well for you, you just lost your job, you failed, I'm talking to you directly. As far as meaning, the reason why I'm saying that is you want to get out of there, you want to do something meaningful, and that first step is not that great, and it's not going to be. Because if you're out real bad, chances are the best you can do today is maybe make that phone call. And that's far from where it is that you need to be. But go ahead and make that phone call. It's taking you to a better place than you were yesterday. And by default, if you stand where you are, you fall backwards because the world moves forwards with or without you. Right? So if you stand still, you fall backwards. So that's why I'm just asking anybody, if you're in a dark place and you feel like you want something meaningful and you're constantly looking for validation, you need something, a sense of existing, you're looking for that career job, you want something more meaningful, parents' pressure, parental pressure, spousal pressure, something, the sense of belonging, because us human beings, we need that. And he has rolled you back into a very dark place that you can't get out of. I'm telling you, as little as that light is, walk towards it. It might not be the most glorious thing. It might not be the thing that you're looking for, because all most young people at Yo want to do is make their parents proud. Make their parents proud, and their parents expecting them to maybe get this career job or get into a med school, law school, and that might not be for them. And they feel like they're doing these grades and they're failing, but parents will always come around, first of all. I keep saying this over and over and time again. But walk towards that light, no matter how small of a light is that when you find your happiness, people just want best for you, right? Walk towards that light. It might not be glorious. It might not be the thing where your parents tell you you're the greatest or whatever. You might not get that, which is okay. Which is okay, is understand, To be able to pull forward, you have to be able to let go of what's holding on to you.
And there's that saying where, when you walk into a dark tunnel, at the end there's light.
There's always a light. Walk towards that light. Eventually get brighter and brighter.
And we got a question over here. What's the best advice to give someone that deals with anxiety?
I mean, it's easier said than done. Deal with the present. Live in the moment. Right? Most of the things, analyze it. Write it down. So anxiety, like I said, when you deal with depression, you're worried about the past, nothing you can control. When you deal with anxiety, unsure, which could stems from what might have happened in the past. But write it down, right? Write down all the possible scenarios, because it's our mind playing games with us. That what if this happened and that happened? But most of the cases, never that. And it's much deeper than what it is, because I know it's about dealing with the mental, right? But face your fear. Don't let nobody put you in a position you not want to be in. Because one thing we know about the human body is if you confront something voluntarily, it's much better than being involuntary to face those fears, right? So write it down, dissect what it is, and work on your flaws, right? Work on your flaws. That's why I got to talk about anxiety, because people might have anxiety of dealing with in groups, and they have visions of maybe public speaking or something like that, and maybe you cannot walk in that party and talk to everybody. You even get anxiety just being in a conversation. But hide behind that screen. See how you communicate with group chats and build yourself up. That's what I mean by work on yourself gradually. And everything that you think might happen, write it all down and see what if it does go wrong. What do I need to do? And live in the moment. Don't worry too much about the future.
When we were talking about distractions earlier, I wanted to ask about what is probably the best way to assess yourself when you realize things are not going the way you need it to go. Maybe it's seeing therapy, or maybe it's if you have that mentor, that person you feel like you can confide in, and what are some of the methods, or what are the best solutions to assess yourself, to make yourself a better person, to handle everything that's going on in the world with yourself, work, relationships, whatever it could be.
If it's beyond your control, I'm a big advocate for mental health and therapy. If it's beyond your control, specifically, if it's hindering your life, your day-to-day life, you might need to seek professional assistant, right? Doesn't mean this doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with you, there's something lack of, but eventually we get to a point where we do need a little assistance, we do need a little push, right? For people to help us with it indirectly. But if it's self-induced, if it's something that we can control, let's take it upon ourselves and do that, And that's the thing, that's the saying, you saying you're not above that, right? You got to accept where you are. This is who you are. So if that's going through therapy, seeing a therapist, a social worker, counselor, so be it. So be it. It's the beginning of the great life that you want for yourself,
And shout out to Afro Entertainment. It's actually funny that he came in. Sometimes you just got to keep going too, with the good and the bad. Because I remember at times when Afro used to have the biggest all white, and as a kid, 10 years ago, I'll be there in maybe, 9, 8 years. I'm like, yo, I can't wait till I have the biggest all-white event. And like, sometimes you may not plan for certain things to happen at a certain time. Like, it may happen later than earlier. But then eventually when it comes, you start to realize like, oh, you know what? Like, I survived that. Like, I remember the times when I was in deep thoughts and it was a possibility. And now when you're actually doing it, and it's funny because before we had Sundance, he had called me and we had a little talk and he congratulated me. He's like, yo, you got the torch now. So, keep going and don't stop. And that conversation alone did a lot for me. So shout out to you. It's good that you tuned in right now. Mama Gravity says, more and more people are now suffering from mental illness and anxiety. The pandemic caused a lot of people to suffer from this. And awareness is key.
Awareness is key. You're not alone. Everybody deal with this. Like I just said, if it's beyond your control, if it's hindering your life and the things that you need to do seek professional help. I highly, highly encourage people to do that. And, sometimes some of these battles that we think we could take on, don't let it defeat you. Don't let it put you to a place where you can't come out of it.
Now, the one thing that I loved about that topic is the ending where it says to keep you going. So basically how your dreams and aspirations can keep you going. And I want to get into like the beginning of that. How do you even get your dreams and aspiration to get you going in terms of like the things you should be doing towards achieving your dreams and aspirations? Because it's one thing to dream, it's one thing to have all these aspirations, but there's some steps you got to do to even be in that position to keep going. Whether it's a loss that it happened and then it turned into a lesson, or a win that happened and it's like, okay, I can do this. Let me keep doing this.
Some people that have gone to the place where things go right, they use their failures as motivators. That's a great place to be in. Some people have used their early success as motivators, meaning I've done it again, I like this feeling, I'm gonna stay here, right? But you gotta find something that puts that battery in your back. All right, we use this analogy all the time. It's difficult for you to say you want to be at the top. It's difficult for you to climb up that ladder. But if that's not a big enough motivator, think of the worst. Think of the worst. What will happen if you don't do the things that you need to do? And I used this I believe last year I was talking about it. The whole snakes and ladder analogy. Where it's kind of like, you don't want to climb up that ladder because you're afraid of heights. It's too high. You don't have the energy and this, that. But look back. What will happen if you don't climb up that ladder? Right? Where will you be a year from now, 2 years from now? Right? So something got to push you. It's either a pull or a push. That's the only way you're moving forward. What it is, And I think the best motivator is a push. Right? Because we all know we all have that extra gear when we're running in fear. We all experience that, being young, somebody's chasing you. There's an extra, you feel like you're running a bit faster. So I think the push is always the thing. Because like I just said, the pull is you grabbing onto something. Eventually it will get hard, you will let go. But the push, you don't stop because you know what's going to happen when you stop. So it's like, however you use it, the pull push factor, the ladders and snakes analogy, however it is that you want to use it at, but something has to move you. Something has to move you. And just think about it. If you don't do the things that you need to do, where will you be a year from now? You'll be far off, worse than you are now. You're complaining about your life and your circumstances now. I'm telling you, life moves on without you. And if you stand still, you will fall backwards.
I love that quote that you said. And I saw one of the comments on YouTube just now, but I think probably have to type it again. They did. Okay, they're retyping. Okay, I'll wait to read it. And then out of sight said thanks. Ice said thank you. So you got the thumbs up. We always love when we ask question. When you ask a question and we answer, we want to make sure that we answered it in the way that helps you best. Or if there's more that you're looking for, please let that be known. But yes, there's the question box. So for this topic, it gets a little tricky, but I realized that you got to keep going. The other day I was driving, we had the event in Whitby and I was in Brampton, so I saw the Amazon warehouse. And when I got to Whitby, I saw the other Amazon warehouse. So it was just a coincidence that Drake had posted one of his old pictures from his condo, and the swipe he had, everyone has to start somewhere. So it has him like opening the condo door. I believe that was the Fort York building, and then the second swipe was in the Amazon office where they started. They had the table where it's just a sign and he's just in the room where he started from. And when I was driving around the building, I was like, oh my goodness, you literally gotta like you know, when you're determined and when you're literally on point, and on point doesn't mean mistakes aren't going to happen or things aren't going to left, but when you take your life serious, when you take your dreams and aspirations serious, how far you can take it. Because I'm pretty sure there's so many different Amazon warehouses in different cities, in different countries. But me seeing 2 of those in that day and Drake posting that picture,
it has to move you. When people start making excuses for your life, you're doing something well. Because I have not yet seen somebody who's successful that got the full recognition or the acknowledgement that they deserve. It's always something. Anytime you see somebody good, is associated with why they're this and why they're that and why they got to where it is. We see that with Elon. We see that with the Kim Kardashian family. We see, we're all given the same situations and circumstances. And regardless of the platform one person have, some people make the most of it, some people don't. There's no excuses. It's not that there's no excuses. Life is much more complex, right? Things happen for other people, things don't, right? We have temperament, personality, situation, how we handle things that makes people better come out of things faster. You're given a certain platform and you know this person, you're connected with this person. But that is not all there is. There's still something within you. Because some people feel like maybe if I had the access to the people in the city like Brother Ebon, I'd be far off than Brother Ebon. But I tell you, there's people just like Brother Ebon that has access to the same kind of people. So it's never always the answer, but if I was putting here, I'll do this and I'll do that. People are always going to judge you. People are always going to judge you. People are always going to feel you need to do more than you do and you're not good enough.
A lot of queens are tuning in. We just had like 4 people with the name Queen. So shout out to all our queens. I seen Queen Barbara, Queen Barbie, Queen Naira. Shout out to all the queens that just came. I don't know if whoever sent out the Queen broadcast message somewhere. Shout out to you guys, and of course shout out to our kings. There's a comment here that says Amazon's one of the biggest companies that actually cause a lot of mental stress for people. I was there, went to bed, woke up, worked, and had stress, never returned, and suffered from PSD from Amazon. Now, I want to get into companies and work stress and how, I guess when you're working on yourself, if you are working a job, it could cause stress or things that happen in that workplace. Because I remember during the beginning of the pandemic, there was a lot going on in the news about how Amazon treated their workers. And I don't want to get into a specific company. It was just a coincidence that I was talking about the Amazon warehouses. But how could we, what advice or what could we get out of that? The work stress, the anxiety is caused from work when you're trying to better and work on yourself. At the end of the day, bills got to get paid. You got to make money. I know you. I think I have an idea of what you might say because you're hard on, because we choose where we want to be.
Facts, I agree with that. Yeah, so we do choose what we want to do. See, if you're doing some of these hard, intense labor, if it's not for you right away, get out of it. Often when people come in the work field, I say the best position that you want to be in is to have an option. Right, the best thing that you want to do is have an option. You often hear some of these stories coming out of Amazon for whatever reason. Why you got the job at Amazon, we do not know. However, like I just said, self-care first. If it's to get you somewhere and this is hindering you and it's not going to put you to where it is that you want to be, right? Because often it's like I tell people, do what it is that you can do. It's right what you can do, not what you're forced to do, right? Because if you work on yourself too much, you try to get somewhere, what happens? If you don't exist, you got to take care of yourself. You'll be dead, literally. So, you hear those stories about Amazon. Know your temperament. Know what works best for you. I don't know what kind of. I don't know if it's micromanagement, if it's labor intense, stress. But I hear that stories a lot.
And I would encourage people to speak up. Find out the resources to make you speak up when you're at jobs and you may feel something is going wrong, because they have departments, they have all these things that can help you. Sometimes when you stay quiet, that's why we always encourage people to ask questions, because if you don't ask a question, you're not going to get the answer, right? So sometimes it's best to do your research and find out, if I feel this way or this is how it is at work. Because sometimes you want to be at work, you just want to collect your money and keep it going. You don't even want no one to say hi to you when you eat your break. You don't want no one to disturb you. You just want to work and go.
And let me add that. So we know about that sacrifice, being at some work and doing all this thing. This is why whatever you get out of the workplace, save it. Don't let them keep you in that rat race, that trap, or feeling like I got to go back and get that next paycheck. Right, because we all know any kind of these workplaces they're not in our best interest. The CEOs, the managers, everybody got to get the bonuses on your back and your labor. So the thing is, you got to start looking out for yourself. So the little that they do give you and you don't appreciate it, save it, do whatever it is that you can, because they know how the system works. They know the little that they give you, you're gonna spend it, you're gonna need to come back next week. They have you in that trap, constantly in that wheel, that rat wheel that you could constantly not get out. They know what it is, you know. They're gonna give you that 25% raise. They see you're getting out of, or you want $1 raise, and they keep you in there. It's still not enough. How the times are moving, so you gotta start, like, either get out of there. Like I just said, first of all, always look for a better job. There's nothing wrong with that. You be on your job at break. Go on LinkedIn. Go on. Look for a better job. Indeed, go look for. Update your resume. Some people haven't touched their resume since high school. I'm telling you, update your resume. Pick up additional skills. Something that you could do. Here's another one. Go to your competitor of your company. Tell them the skills that you developed there that you're bringing to them. They'll love that. All right, they'll love that. That's right there. Go to the competitor of your company. Tell them the skills that you took from this place that you're bringing there. Right, so I'll constantly do that and get out of that rat race, right? Because they know they got you in that world. They're always gonna, make you keep walking, keep doing that. So don't work so hard and say I need time for myself, and you're gonna come back and complain Monday to Friday, and the little Saturday, Sunday you get out of it, and you know you cannot quit because bills needs to get paid, right? Your circle, your situations, kids, whatever it is, and your health is so important. Your health is so important. So even if as far as that work and save everything for the next 3 months, so you could take a month off and actually focus on your dreams or find a job that will actually make you happy, do it. I'm all for it. Do it.
And it brings me back to when the whole Rogers communication thing happened on Friday. CP24 ended up going there to talk to some of the people. One person was like, I literally work. All I do is work. So like I was looking forward to this concert, and now I already know when they, like, if they bring the concert next week, I gotta work. I probably won't be able to make it, so I'm backed up. But I love that she agreed. Mama Gravity said, you're absolutely right. Look out for yourself. I'm never returning back to that hole. And you do what's best for you.
Do what's best for you. You know, you're the only thing that you got. You're the superhero in your movie. You know, they'll replace you literally tomorrow. You're not going back. Somebody else fill that void tomorrow. Literally.
And you gotta pick yourself first. You literally got, and things are gonna happen. There's so many things that was affected by Friday, and here we are Monday, right?
Yep.
The world is still going on.
Yep.
No matter what. So, and I want to ask you this because it was so funny. Oftentimes the world preached that credit is king, and when Friday happened, you saw all these people just trying to come back. Cash is king now. Cash is king. Don't forget. And I want to hear what you had to say, or what your thoughts is on that.
It varies. You know, the system could get shut down. Like, it's just, and then you see the conspiracy things going on and whatever. Believe it or not, I do preach that cash is king, have cash in moments like that. And I did not have cash that day. I was a victim of the whole Interact machine going down. So I actually personally witnessed that, but good thing I didn't have too much to do. But
I should have called you.
You gotta have something on you, Learn from it. Adapt to the circumstance and situation what happened. Maybe keep a couple hundreds on you now, just in case you're not caught up in this kind of situation again. You learn from your mistakes. So I gotta do that.
And I love this. She says, I really do appreciate what you two young gentlemen are doing, reaching out to people that might not have any other person to talk to. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. And thank you. That's what this platform is created for. That's what we stand for. And honestly, you just gave me some great motivation. Sometimes you forget. You get so caught up in the world and what you're doing that, this is a safe space where we can have these open discussions, and you never know how that can make somebody feel after they listen to this or during while they listen to it. So that comment alone, I just screenshot it. Sometimes I need reminders as well to stay on course. We're all human.
And that's for everybody that's tuning in, reading the comments, share this knowledge, It's like, regardless what somebody else, often people come in and share that information. It's like, I really, really needed this. Like, it just could be information coming from somebody, And even if you heard it all before and it's repetitive, because like I said, we're not doing nothing special. Most of these motivational podcasts is all the same. But sometimes somebody will come along the way, and that could be the person that changed your life. Like, and I'm sure if you talk to your parents, they'll give you great advice, but sometimes we don't listen, So
I wish I listened. Oh, you learned the hard way.
It's part of life. That's what life is all about growing up, the experience, What if we did everything right? What if it's an ideal situation, but we wouldn't know the other side. We wouldn't know how it feels to, if I did everything right, I personally wouldn't be sitting here on this platform or this podcast or be in so sometimes it's good to be, live life a little on the edge, go through these experiences. Speaking of all these people talk about occupation, I did a job once, landscaping. I went at 6 a.m. I went on lunch at 11, I didn't go back. Them bricks was heavy.
It'd be like that.
I didn't go back. Self-care. I didn't go back. You know,
picked himself first.
So I put myself above it. Literally, I remember like at 6 a.m. like 7, I was out of there. At 11 o'clock by lunchtime, they said we'd go on lunch. I went more than lunch. I went on vacation.
Did you have a plan like a
No, I was out. No plan B. I was out. So you just know some things are not for you. Or out. I took my chances. I was out.
You rolled the dice. I think it paid well for you as well too. You know yourself at the end of the day. That's the thing. I think it's great, but it's tricky because you know yourself.
Yeah.
But how deep do you know yourself to dig into yourself to like fix your flaws, like what you're talking about earlier?
Fix your flaws. And not even so much as knowing yourself, believing in yourself. Because you know what you can and what you cannot do, right? But you got to believe in yourself. Like I said, that's why you got to work on your flaws or your circumstances. Because I knew I'd make do. That wasn't my first job and that was not my last job. Like I knew I'd make do, but I believe in myself. My self-esteem is a little too much. Some people like, you believe in yourself way too much. Well, I have to. Nobody's going to push me like I need to push myself.
100%.
Right.
And well said on that. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. Our rap families in here as well too. Shout out to my guy D in the building. Everybody to DJ Terry. A lot of the people who are tuning, if I missed your name, it's just the names are they keep going. But thank you for tuning to Motivation Mondays. Earlier on we were talking about distractions. We were talking about the fact how Monday, with the Rogers communication going down, a lot of people didn't have service, had to go to Wi-Fi means and all of these just to be able to like communicate and just get things done. We just talked about how your dreams and aspirations keep you going. And dream big. Like dream big. Like go for it. Like
beyond your wildest imagination, that is not possible. Dream so big that it scares you. Like no way I could do that. But I work towards that. Like just because it can't happen doesn't mean don't work towards that. Work towards that. You'll be in a much better place. Like, you know what I mean? If you just dream of being a millionaire, you're never gonna be a millionaire. You'll never reach that million. Right? You wanna dream of becoming a billionaire. You land on that $1 million mark. That's why they say shoot for the moon. Because if you miss, you're still among those stars.
And there's that saying they say if you can't handle like $1,000 or $10,000, $20,000, you won't be able to handle $50,000 or $100,000.
Work your way up.
What's the breakdown in that quote that they love to say?
Well, it's kind of like don't leave what's in front of you as in something minor. Like we've been talking about all episode. I don't think you're above this. Like don't think you're above this. People often said, if I had a better job, my situations and circumstances would be better. If I had $1 million, I wouldn't have to deal with it. But that's difficult because based on what we're seeing now, it's difficult for you to handle that $1,000 budget, that $1 million budget, because everything just increased, everything just multiplied, right? If your money times 10, whatever you're doing is times 10, right? Including the spending, including your lifestyle. That's what this offer is about. So you want to develop those habits. If you were saving times 10, now you're going to save times 10. And that's kind of like the exact same things, like the little things, It's ideal, like pump more money, and that's kind of like the reason why we're here today, and the government pumping more money into the economy to fix things.
Literally.
Now I'm gonna pay for it, but that's another story.
Save that for another day.
Save that for another day.
And my guy David, who works with rap, I'm putting this out there too because they're in control of a lot of artists, interviews and things when they come to the city and worldwide in North America. So definitely would want to see how we can collaborate and get something going. It's good to see our Ghana brothers in high positions at these companies that are changing the world, and I think it would be great to have Max and one of these special guests as well to break down and see how we can collaborate in some sense. So shout out to you for coming through and showing love today. Our last topic for today's conversation, today's episode, is accepting your financial and social status and working to better your situation. I love that part at the end. Because we all, like, everybody's different. Everybody's financial situation is different. It's easy to get caught up in that. Okay, you know what? Everybody's purchasing a home right now. I'm not at a place where I can purchase a home right now, but there's steps that you can take to be in that position, or other things. Whether you have buying your brand new car, or starting a business, investing to your business, or there's so many different aspects. But I love the last part where it says and working to better your situation. So let's talk about it first. Accepting your financial and social status. What does that mean to you, to an individual, your financial and social status, and what should that mean to you?
Well, that you're not perfect, that you have flaws, that it's okay to be exactly where you are. You have everything that you need, and that's it. Nothing is going to be given to you. Nothing is going to be given to you, but you have to work towards that. You have to work on to better your situation. To better your situation, like we talked about, your problems. Most people's problems not monetary. Although people think money could fix all their problems, that's why you often hear that money can't by happiness. You know, it gives you access for you to find those things, right? And if you don't even know where those things are, by starting looking within yourself, the awareness, right? If you think you're gonna get money and you just want to go on vacation and party, what you really need to do is get money and go to therapy and overcome some of the things that you're dealing with. It's two different things, because that quick dopamine is gonna make you worse off. Like, you know, people escape. People go to work 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is, and then they go on vacation for a week and go back right into that place and work for another 10 months. Yeah, that little experience just made that week vacation just made you hate your job more, right? Because it made you feel like what I could have been, what I should have been, and this, that, right? It puts a toll on you. But rather, if you went to learn to overcome some of the things that you need to work on to maybe leave that job, because that job is what's bothering you so much, right? Or if it's to get funding for you to get some type of investment for you to escape this rat race that we're all in, then so be it.
And you know, the news is crazy how you come on the news and you can get so many different things and aspects of what's going on in life. Like, we're hearing people who took some heavy financial losses during the pandemic, and it's stopped them from working, or like they're super stressed, and now they're looking for assistance medically to kill themselves. And the main thing that was the fact that, look how they can easily help somebody medically who wants to kill themselves, but where are the resources to help those people when they're going through what they're going through to overcome that aspect? And it's sad, it's tough. Like, you know, you wake up, news talks about the Bank of Canada is expected to hike interest rates again, and, you know, inflation, and, you know, thank God gas went down during the last little bit. It was like, I remember it got down to like 176.
Gas is cheaper, but where we're going is expensive.
So
can't escape it.
It's one of the two. You can't, like, you know, it comes with the pros and negatives, the pluses and minuses. But we live in a time right now where you got to work on you and understand what you want out of your future, literally, and what it's gonna take, and what sacrifices you have to make in order to achieve your goals. And your you know, you might have to miss a party or two, or you might have to, you know, miss the fun. So it's okay to miss fun.
It's okay for something to miss you. It's okay for the better future for you to say, okay, this is what I need to miss for a better future. Like, you know, people always I see this online, and it bothers me sometimes, where it's kind of like, tomorrow's not promised. Well, what if you do see tomorrow, right? It's always, what if this goes wrong? But what if it doesn't, right? You didn't plan for tomorrow. Now you're here. It's called today. And now you're dealing with another thing, right? And that's the constant cycle. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in the future as well. That it's well designed for you. Don't leave it by chance, right? Don't take chances on your future. Design it yourself. You know, set those stepping stones, those blocks for you to walk towards that future. Then you don't have this this thing where, oh, well, I gotta live today because tomorrow ain't promised, right? Because then you're always behind the 8 ball. Meaning you're not putting your best foot forward. So when you step in tomorrow, it's a bit harder than it is for you, right? So important that you believe in yourself. The future is stable. Like, if you do the thing that's necessary, yes, I know that, you know, you could be seeing all this thing tomorrow. We deal with people dying, people getting COVID and this, that. Yes, that is there. But what happens if that's not the case? You didn't prepare yourself for tomorrow. And that's why people fail today, because they fail to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Literally. And you know, that basically wraps up today's episode. We talked about distractions, how to overcome distractions, and what means to use to, you know, keep yourself focused. We talked about how your dreams and aspirations can keep you going. And then the last one that we just talked about was accepting your financial and social status and working to better your situation. And the beginning of when we announced that topic, I think you nailed it right on. Like, nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. We all have flaws, right? Don't look at other people think they're doing well off, or you know that you need to be like them. You're okay the way. I'm not even gonna say you're okay the way they are, because you need to work on yourself. You need to better yourself. Because like I said, if you stand still, you fall backwards. However, it's okay what you have, but you want to make most out of it, right? Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't compare. You know, you don't know people's circumstances or situation attached to what it is that they have. And you hear this all the time. Like, people might have that nice home, but it's like it's literally killing them. There's no, you know, they have a house, I should say, because, you know, it's love and family that makes it into a home. You have a house, but in other words, them and their significant other don't see each other. They're always butting heads because they're working full-time job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs to pay off this house. So it's not really a home, it's a house. So it's that you're idolizing these couples who have this house and thinking that's what you want for yourself, but you do not know what's going on in that house. You know what I mean? So don't idolize people, don't wish and dream. Like, you know, dream big for yourself and work towards something.
And I think the biggest takeaway from today was just putting yourself first and do what's best for you.
Exactly. Always put yourself first, not these companies.
And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up episode 40. Thanks for joining us on IG Live and on YouTube. I appreciate all the comments from the YouTube side to the IG side. I'm seeing the prayer hands up. So thanks for tuning in and having this discussion with us.